Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is Omar. I'm back again with another presentation for you guys. Today now I wanted to do a video that was a little bit on the lighthearted side. I want to just have fun today. So what I'm going to discuss is my top 8 favorite movies. My top 8 favorite movies. While I was trying to think of this list, I wanted to narrow it down to 5. But then, you know, when you talk about your favorite movies, it's kind of hard to try to compile a list that's so short. So it ended up going from 5 to 6, and then from 6 to 8. And I figured out, you know what, I'll just stop right there at 8. You know, it could have got to 10 to 15, but I'll stop right there at 8 just for conversation purposes. So what I'm going to do is that the order that I'm going to go through these movies in is going to be based off of the year that they came out. So I'm going to start from the earliest movie until the one that was most recent that I've seen. Now, the first one I got on my list is the Malcolm X movie that came out in '92. If you guys can remember, that was with Denzel Washington played Malcolm X. And then you had Angela Bassett, who played, I believe it Betty was her name, played his wife. Probably one of the best Denzel Washington movies I ever seen, man. That came out in '92. It pretty much told the story of Malcolm X from, you know, as a young man, you know, as far as, you know, him being in jail, being incarcerated because a white woman had accused him of rape. And then you kind of see that transition of him meeting a guy that was from Islam in the jail. And when he came out, he started living life, having more of a purpose in his life. And I just love how Denzel played Malcolm X to the T. He almost looked like a spitting image of Malcolm X. So that's one of my favorite movies. That's why I got that on the list. The next movie I got on the list would be Sunset Park, that came out in 1996. I can actually remember my family and I went to the movie theater to watch that movie. It was like a comedy / drama. It was starring Rhea Perlman, Antoine Tanner, Fredro Starr, and I think Mr. Talent Harris or something like that. It was a real lighthearted movie that had a little bit of drama in there, where Rhea Perl's character played this high school basketball coach who took over this inner city high school basketball team. And you know, with a basketball team, you got all different kind of personalities. You know, different players with different skill sets, and she's trying to do as best as she can as far as leading that team to the championship. So it was some great acting going on in there. It was fun. It was one of those movies that kind of reminded me of my childhood a little bit. You know, as far as being part of a team and how fun it was to be part of that team. So that's why I got that down on the list. It's a fun movie to watch. I actually watch that movie every now and again, you know, just to check out some of those funny moments in there. Now, the next one I got on here will be the Star Wars Episode 1 that came out in 1999. Liam Neeson was one of the main characters in that movie. He played Qui-Gon Jinn, which was like the master Jedi Knight. I can't think of any other character's name, but I know who the main character was. I can't think of that one girl's name too. She played Padme. Y'all know it was the attractive girl. She played Padme in there. But I like that movie. It was like an action-packed sci-fi. That would be the genre that you would classify that movie in. A lot of action in there, and the story time was pretty believable too, as far as the Jedi Knights and young Anakin Skywalker, how he comes onto the scene with his pod racing, and they're trying to protect the Queen. And my favorite part of the movie was, of course, the fight scenes, the big showdown with the Darth Maul. And the Darth Maul is my favorite Star Wars character of all time. I only maybe watched a couple of Star Wars films, but by far he's like my favorite character, let alone favorite villain. You see what I'm saying? The way he was whipping that lightsaber, that double-headed lightsaber around in that movie, Man, I almost lost my mind when I saw that double head lightsaber. I was such a fan of the Darth Maul character that I remember, like, back when 1999, I was 11 years old. I went and asked my parents if they can buy me the lightsaber. That's how much of a fan I was. So that movie's gonna always, you know, be one of my all-time classics right there. All right. So the next one I got on my list is Paid in Full. Paid in Full. Wood Harris plays the character Ace. You got my boy Cameron, he plays Rico, and then you have I can't think of his name, Mekhi Phifer, who plays Mitch. And the story is about how these three young black men pretty much come up as one of the top dope dealers in the game in the inner city of New York City. And I love that movie because I like the character Ace, because I can relate to him, you know, just being a guy who, you know, didn't like the way his life was going, if things was too mediocre. You know, a humble guy, liked to help people, liked to put people on, and at the same time was just trying to better himself at the end of the day, you know. So of course he gets caught up in a couple things along the way and ends up bowing out gracefully out of the game. But I loved his character though, man, because I can relate to that character so much as far as being the humble, quiet superstar that arrives on the scene. And you know, and it was actually based on a true story. That's what makes the movie so good. It was based on a true story, and you can kind of see those different elements as far as, you know, people that are envying you, things like that, and all of the ups and downs. You may have family members that want to partake in your downfall. You got people envying you. You got young people that look up to you. You know, you got the families, which was the girlfriend involved. So it was a very excellent movie, man. One of my top 5 movies of all time right there. And I'm actually mad that I lost my copy. So like I said, man, those are 8 movies. I actually have 8 movies. My top 8 movies. I just gave you 4. Malcolm X, Sunset Park, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Paid in Full. Now I'm gonna make a follow-up video to give you guys the remaining 4 movies that's part of my top 8. So I appreciate y'all listening. Y'all take it easy. Peace.